We're in the season of Matthew, so you'll hear that gospel again very soon. Just pay attention. So I'm not going to give you all the details of the gospel. The key I want to touch on in both the gospel and the book of Numbers is receiving and question mark, are we grateful? You heard the book of Numbers. It's one of the first 5 books of the Bible. It's called the Pentateuch, and it gives the history and history and records the lives and the events of the people when they were first freed after the Exodus. Okay, so this section. So the author recalls the time we were in the desert and we weren't satisfied because all we had, first of all, there's nothing to eat. Then God gave us manna, okay? And then we wanted more than manna, okay? And then we wanted, and the list goes on and on. And that's, I mean, you could read that a lot more intelligently in the book itself, Numbers. So Moses turns to God and says, you gave us freedom. It wasn't enough. You brought us away from Pharaoh's people. It wasn't enough. Even when we were hungry, you made manna fall from the sky. And manna is a substance that falls from some of the trees in that area of the world. And when it falls on the floor, on the ground, in the morning, it looks like a light, thin coating of sugar. That's what it looks like when it falls. So what the Jews did, and the Hebrews did, they picked up this manna. The word means, as they looked up and saw it all over the ground, what is it? They picked it up and they made it into cakes. And you got the whole recipe here in the book of Numbers. They have a tendency, the author has a tendency to give us all the information. So, and Moses is saying, okay, so they got the manna, they made cakes, they baked it, and it even tastes like bread and oil that we used to have back in the Pharaoh days. But now we want more. That's all you're going to give us? We want more. The story stops for us there. Go to Jesus. He's with a crowd of approximately several thousand. He's given them himself. He's given them his word. But they're hungry. Now, there's 2 things going on. The word is going in here. Hunger is here. So they go to him, his apostles. Jesus, there's so many people and we're far. Tell them to all go home. Meet you tomorrow, same place. He said, no. He said, I'm not going to tell them to go home. It's a long journey. Tell them to sit down. And the apostles say, oh, okay, sit down for what? They're hungry. Give them something to eat. Now imagine a crowd, several times the size of the church, filled with people, and Jesus sitting here saying to Father Bible, and say it to me, the pastor, they're hungry, and saying to Father Bob, give them something to eat. And you're caught in a dilemma because you want to, but how much do you have? And we're talking about bread and the story of the multiplication, but we're also talking about ourselves. You realize that when we're talking the homily, when we're presenting God's word that way. So they had enough to eat. They wanted more. And what does Jesus say to his apostles? You feed them. They're hungry. You feed them. Well, we got some fish and bread. You feed them. Forget the fish and bread. And what is he asking those people, his apostles, to feed the people that follow him? The list goes on. Faith. Feed them love. Feed them confidence. Feed them what? Every aspect of our prayer life can be applied here. And not only praying for ourselves, but as Jesus said, others. Feed them. So whatever I learn in my prayer life, as I'm praying for someone, for an intention, for gratitude, I have to incorporate that as part of my nourishment from God, and then I gotta feed other people. My examples of faith, okay. How your prayers were answered or not, okay. You see, that's how we'll be able to all nourish one another, if we share our faith stories with each other, gratefully, really acknowledging that God's the first one who gave us the bread, the manna, the bread in the desert, Jesus himself. And now it's up to us to give that gift of Jesus to one another.